again.
In the city with neon glows, where the palm trees sway and the rhythm flows, there's a podcast that's breaking all the codes. It's the Vice of Miami. Here's the story it unloads. Here's the story it unloads.
Welcome to the Vice of Miami podcast. I am your host, Mark, alongside my co-host, Tim, and we're thrilled to take you on a journey through the iconic 80s series, Miami Vice. Each episode, we delve into the gripping world of Detective Sonny Crockett, Enrico Tubbs, and the entire Vice team, reviewing every episode and uncovering the dark storylines, unforgettable guest stars, and the electrifying music that turned Miami Vice into a cult classic. From trivia and fun facts to the occasional goof, we're here to provide a fresh and engaging perspective, whether you're a longtime fan or you're new to the series. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us on show number 94, the last for season 4 of the series part itself, as we cover season 4, episode 22, Mirror Image.
And Mark, this episode was written by Daniel Sackheim and Nelson Oramas, directed by Richard Compton. The original air date was May 6, 1988, and it is the 90th episode overall in the series. Our plot for this episode: after an explosion on a dealer's boat, Crockett suffers amnesia. Taken in by the very drug boss he's been investigating, he comes to believe he is truly Sonny Burnett and goes to work for the dealer.
By that corny new music we have, that's time for the guest stars and the co-stars. First up, we have Chris Cooper as Jimmy Hagdovich, born July 9th, 1951 in Kansas City, Missouri. Cooper began his acting career in the 1987 movie Mattawan. Then he starred in Guilty by Suspicion, 1,000 Pieces of Gold, A Time to Kill, The Bourne Identity, and its sequel, The Bourne Supremacy. Adaptation, which Cooper won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, among many others. Some TV credits include The Equalizer, Lonesome Dove, Return to Lonesome Dove, Law and Order, The Corrections, and the miniseries 11/22/23. He married actress Mary Ann Leone in 1983, and they have one son, Jesse Lanier. Jesse died from complications from his cerebral palsy in 2005, after which a memorial fund, the Jesse Cooper Foundation, was started.
Next up, we have Antonio Juan Vargas, born August 14, 1946, and he's an American actor who appeared as Alejandro Gutierrez. Vargas began his career in the movies starting in the 1964 film The Cool World. Other film credits include Shaft, Believe in Me, Cisco Pike, Car Wash, Pretty Baby, among several others. TV credits include Bill Cosby Show, Policewoman, Ironside, among others. He's best known as Huggy Bear on Starsky and Hutch. The only thing listed about his personal life was Vargas' son Justin played professional football with the Oakland Raiders and Denver Broncos from 2003 to 2010.
Working at the car wash.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got Brent Jennings as Fort Lauderdale Sergeant Rolando Jordan. We covered his bio in the Heart of Darkness and Home Invaders episodes from previous seasons.
Next up is Tony Azito as Miguel Minolo. Tony began his acting career in the theater in The Pirates of Penzance. Other movie roles were Apple Pie, Union City, Night of the Juggler, among others. His final TV appearance was in the Mirror Image episode, and his last film appearance was in 1993's Necronomicon, Book of the Dead. Azito died of AIDS on May 26, 1995, in Manhattan, New York at the age of 46.
And rounding out the guest stars, we've got Julia Fiona Roberts. Yes, that's Julia Roberts. Born October 28th, 1967 in Smyrna, Georgia. She starred here in the show as Polly Wheeler. Roberts began her acting career in television, debuting in the series Crime Story. Other TV roles include Baja, Oklahoma, Friends, Law and Order, Freedom, The History of Us, among others. She got many, many movie roles, including Firehouse, Satisfaction, Mystic Pizza, Steel Magnolias, The Pelican Brief, among many. Roberts was engaged to actors Dylan McDermott and Kiefer Sutherland in the 1980s, but abruptly married country singer Lyle Lovett after a 3-week romance in 1993, and they divorced in 1995. Roberts later married cameraman Daniel Motor in 2002, and they have 3 children, twins Hazel and Phineas, and son Henry. And rounding out the co-stars, we've got Ellen Beck, Robert Gamba, and Michael George Owens as interns, Gino Cabanas and Robert Escobar as Manolo Goons, Artie Molesky as Diver, John Matchin as Hood, Camille Sands as Doris Gumble, and Freddie St. Jude as Business Suit.
Here's some Miami Vice news. Actress Julia Roberts has stepped out of the spotlight. After Julia and her husband had become empty nesters, they both are getting a chance to focus on their marriage again, sans kids. They've made it a priority to plan date nights and spend more quality time together as a couple.
All right, let's start the discussion for the final episode of season 4, called Mirror Image. We open to along the waterside somewhere. Crockett here still lamenting about Caitlin's recent death. And Tubbs they're just observing a drug lord summit on a boat off in the distance between Alejandro Gutierrez and some people from a rival organization. Crockett is set to go aboard here undercover to try and turn Gutierrez against his boss, Miguel Manolo, hoping that doing so is going to further his investigation. And we kind of notice here that Crockett's tone in speaking is still in the monotone, dark, sullen voice that we saw at the end of last episode. A little hint of Castillo-esque. I mean, he lost his wife. Well, I guess we didn't have a funeral or anything like that we know of, but
no.
He's back and he's kind of quiet. So now later on the boat, Crockett here is, and the way they set this up, he's marlin fishing on the back of the boat and everyone else is doing their stuff around him. But the way they did this between showing him on the boat and the actual marlin that he's trying to wrangle, you could just tell it's 2 different clips. Behind Crockett, you could see a nice still water. But yet when they show the marlin, the water's, not super choppy, but it's definitely more choppy than, a nice, peaceful, calm water. They could have done a better job, but it is what it is, right? So he's fishing here, and he's telling Gutierrez that he's got info on Manolo's plan to squeeze him out, but he doesn't tell him the full details. He's still wrangling the fish here. I'm guessing he probably don't want to say it in front of everybody, which makes sense. So anyway, Gutierrez here toasts to peace and prosperity on both groups. And then he sneaks below deck here to one of the staterooms and he opens up a cabinet and he activates a little plastic, I don't know if it's plastique or whatever, but he's got a bomb.
Oh, yeah, it was.
He's got a timer on it and I think he sets it for a minute, which is kind of cutting it close in my eyes, but I've never done that, so I couldn't tell you. And he activates his bomb, hoping not to wipe out not only his opposition, but a sizable chunk of his boss's men as well. I guess he wants to move up in the world, thereby setting himself up, obviously, as a major player. He comes up, urges Crockett to leave with him when another boat pulls up, but Crockett being too involved with the fish that he hooked. He doesn't take the hint. He jumps off. Gutierrez jumps off here, And like within 10 seconds later, boat explodes and Gutierrez escapes to be all safe.
Didn't Crockett though jump off with him?
I don't remember seeing that.
He saw him leave and he's like, what? And he dumped the Marlin, and I think he did. Well, he had to, otherwise he would have been blown up.
Right. It's obvious. I don't recall. I saw him. Yeah, he saw Gutierrez take off, and I saw him drop the pole, but I don't recall him actually jumping. Maybe
it went quick.
Maybe I didn't catch it, but yes, it did go quick. I thought he was still on it, but miraculously survived, just like the bullet that left no scar. Anyway, we'll get to that, right?
So now we're at OCB, and Castile wants Crockett's files turned over to Homicide as they are now handling the case. The whole team is stunned at what happened. Tubbs goes through Crockett's files on Manolo to begin his own investigation. Meanwhile, Crockett is at an unspecified location, maybe a secret lair with a hospital-like setting. He has a concussion that has brought about amnesia. Gutierrez wants him better as soon as possible, and because he's anxious to learn about Manolo's plans for him. Later at the same facility, Crockett begins to function properly again and doing his impression of amnesia, just like Uncle June in The Sopranos. The on-site doctor tells him he's Sonny Burnett, a drug dealer, and warns him about Gutierrez.
You know what you are?
Yeah, I'm Sonny Burnett.
What you are, what you do.
No.
You drive a Ferrari sports car. Keys are in your pocket. Police are looking for you. And my guess is that you're a drug dealer. Of course, that's your business, but I just wanted to forewarn you because Mr. Gutierrez, he's a cold-blooded man, believe me.
Why should I?
Oh, you don't have to. Just might save your life, but that's up to you.
Was this a medical facility or somebody's house that maybe had on his staff, the medical staff or something?
Oh, who knows?
It just seemed like a cold, dark hospital if it was. But anyway, now at Manolo's place, and from now on, for clarity, we're going to call Crockett Burnett, because that's who he is. That's who he thinks he is. So now at Manolo's place, Burnett, whose memory is still foggy, pulls up to Manolo's place with a couple of goons, and this is in Fort Lauderdale, and he meets somebody named Polly Wheeler, Manolo's assistant. They're outside talking, and they're checking out Manolo's cockfighting birds here. Manolo assigns Burnett to get to the bottom of this peace conference that he wants, and the issue that's going on with it. Gutierrez, who has his arm in a sling from the explosion, is still trying to get out of Burnett what he was about to tell him on the boat, but obviously Burnett can't remember what it was. So later on, Tubbs here goes to Manolo's old Miami storefront or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was along the street in storefronts. And we find it abandoned except for a bunch of mail on the floor, right by the mail drop box. And he finds a letter to a Doris Gumble. So he figures, okay, this is a better lead than anything. Tubbs goes to visit her, and she tells Tubbs that Manolo moved up to Lauderdale. And now back at Manolo's, Gutierrez continues to badger Burnett, thus interrupting a conversation between Polly, while Burnett here was nipping at some blackjack. But he remembers he likes blackjack, though. Doesn't know anything else, but he's still sipping at that blackjack. He wants to know about the boat, the info that he was going to get on the boat. But Burnett remembers that Gutierrez lit a cigar at the hospital with his bad arm. Doesn't know much. Like, knows he wants blackjack, knows this. Anyway, he tells Manolo that Gutierrez was behind the boat explosion. So he kind of drops the bomb, so to speak, on Gutierrez.
So now we're at OCB again, and Tubbs tells Castile he's taking time off to continue his own investigation. Castile prefers that homicide handler, but Tubbs wants to find the body because it hasn't turned up yet. At a park somewhere, Burnett, during a drug meet, stops a potential ripoff of Manolo's drugs by shooting one of the dealers dead right there. First in cold blood of the series, mind you, and ordering the other two into the trunk of their car.
Yep. I remember, just like last episode, Tubbs just Crockett just doesn't shoot somebody just because, right?
Right.
And not that we've seen in the series so far. I mean, he's taking care of business as he had to, as he's allowed to, but he just doesn't come up and.
So the next morning, Polly, after an attempt at flirting with Burnett, who's going private pilot with his weapon, lets him know he's expected with Manolo in an hour. Manolo wants...
Go ahead. You don't know.
7.62 millimeter full metal jacket. Manolo wants Gutierrez to take Burnett with him to meet the Arzamenes, who have set up a deal. Tubbs stops by the Lauderdale PD to meet his old friend Sergeant Rolando Jordan and Detective Jimmy Hagovich, asking for help with Manolo. Jordan says there's a leak in the department regarding Manolo, and IAD has the lid clamped on it.
My partner in Miami was killed in action.
Sorry, Rico.
He was on to this Colombian. Guy had a beachhead in Miami, but I think his primary is here. So we might say I'm fishing.
Anything I can do? Anything?
Yeah, we could start with the guy in your file. His name's Manolo. What is it?
Not Miguel Manolo.
Yeah, why?
Manolo's got his hands in someone's pockets, man. Every time we make a move, his organization picks it up on their newsletter. We've already lost 2 undercovers.
Well, we'll get them together.
Internal Affairs has got the lid clamped tight on this one. Manolo's strictly off limits until we plug the leak.
Well, just push me in the right direction.
So now, while waiting somewhere, waiting for the Arzamenes, who didn't show up because no deal really exists, Burnett gets a call from Manolo. Gutierrez can guess what the phone call is about and tries to convince Burnett to go into business with him, obviously trying to swing him towards his way. But Burnett is not stupid. He's got none of it. And remembering what it sounds like when a 38 is cocked, like Gutierrez just did, he's pulling it out from the side. Boom. Crockett shoots Gutierrez in the face, and you see the glass blowing out the driver's side window. The second cold-blooded killer from Crockett here. Dang. Anyways, now at Manolo's, while tending to his chickens, expresses approval at Burnett's effectiveness in getting stuff done, while Tubbs here is at the Fairmount Hotel. I'm assuming he's staying there. I don't know. Whatever. He gets a call from Jordan, who tells him about Gutierrez's death and directs him to Manolo's art gallery to see what's going on.
So now Tubbs meets Polly at the art gallery. Do you have anything on this, Mark?
This was the Amato residence from No Exits, the one with Bruce Willis in it. So I'm guessing that the estate sold it off since he was capped, and she's probably in jail for capping him on the steps of the courthouse there when he got off. But it is plain as day. He's got the steps going up. It's pink. Anyway, I digress.
So Tubbs meets Polly and asks for meet with Manolo while he watches and listens, leaving his contact number. Tubbs goes to the Lauderdale PD, asks Jordan for $10K in front money. After hemming and hawing, Jordan agrees on the condition that Tubbs wear a vest. Hagovich, who we found out is the leak, visits Manolo to tell him that Cooper is really a cop named Tubbs and is looking for his partner named Crockett, who allegedly dies in a boat explosion. Manolo is seething right about now. Manolo then arranges to have Cooper meet with Burnett in an alley behind his gallery just to see where Burnett's loyalties lie.
Why didn't you come to me with this sooner?
Because it just happened. And besides, there's been a sudden lack of movement on anything related to the file as of late.
Specific orders?
Indirect from Jordan. He didn't want any movement on you at all.
Then why does this Cooper?
It's Tubbs. Cooper is his cover.
And his interest in me?
He's looking to avenge his partner's death. The guy supposedly bought it undercover on a boat. In an explosion.
What was this cop's name?
Crockett. Sonny Crockett.
Okay, so now we're at this dark, seedy alley behind, we're assuming behind Malono's here, the gallery. Tubbs arrives to the meet, and he is met and shot by Burnett. I mean, Burnett just comes up and poof, looks at him, walks away. And later comes a weird dream scene, dream sequence with Burnett of his former life. He's walking along the beach. He sees Castillo and Switek in black. And then first he sees Tubbs in a coffin, and he sees himself. And this goes on. It's not really long, but it's long enough to be like, whatever. And then he wakes up pretty much in a cold sweat with Polly. And this, if anybody knows the MASH series, this was kind of like the Dreams episode of MASH, which I didn't like because it was just same type of macabre type without being creepy. Mm-hmm. Anywho, so we're at a hospital now somewhere. Tubbs is saved by the vest. He's getting all buttoned up. He's squared away, and he knows he saw his partner shoot him. He knows Crockett's alive. So I would have to say he's probably happy with it. Jordan's in the room with him, and then we've got a quick scene here with Burnett at Polly's lamenting about everything that's going on in the bathroom mirror, but you don't see the scar that he was shot. Just a hint. And now back at the Lauderdale PD, Tubbs and Jordan are going over quickly the facts of who may be the leak, while Hagovich is listening behind them at his desk. Tubbs calls Castillo, while Hagovich calls Manolo to confirm that Tubbs here is still alive, and he's got to do what's necessary.
So now Manolo sets Burnett up with a deal and has Hagovich tag along. Castillo checks with Lauderdale IAD, and they have fingered Hagovich as the leak, but he's already left to meet Burnett at the Gallery Marina, offering to be his partner. So at the gallery, Tubbs and Jordan rush there and search frantically for Burnett and Hagovich. When Hagovich pulls a gun and confronts Burnett about being a cop, Burnett shoots Hagovich dead and takes off in a boat, with Tubbs calling out to him from the gallery, which ended the scene freeze frame, and it ended season 4 of Miami Vice.
That's BURNETT.
All right, time for the ratings. IMDb gives us an 8.2. Tim, our last for season 4, what is your review rating for this one?
Absolutely loved it. I give it definitely an 8.2. This episode closed out season 4 in a strong way. The OCB team believes that Sonny was killed in a bone explosion, but in reality, he had amnesia and assumed the role of his alter ego, Sonny Burnett. Lines started to become blurred as Burnett began killing several people, including a crooked cop. He also shot Tubbs. It's going to be interesting to see how season 5 begins, and also how they will reconcile Crockett's cold-blooded killings. Will he have to answer for these homicides if and when he regains his memory as Crockett? I love it that it's also a hit cliffhanger, as there were not many throughout the series run to this point. I'm not sure if there was even any. Strong, intense episode.
Absolutely great episode. Strong storyline here with the arc that we discussed previously from last episode. Obviously, the dark side of Crockett/Burnett is going to be carried into next season. But yeah, great cliffhanger. If we could be transported back to the 80s. Crockett here, still reeling from Kate's murder, is from the get-go low tone when he was, like I said, at the waterside talking with Tubbs, sullen in demeanor. And the Marlin wrangling on the boat. Please. This was kind of, even though it was a Crockett-centric episode, it was another Back to Vice episode. It wasn't something stupid or outlandish. It was Vice. It was Back to Vice, nitty gritty. At least Tubbs' solo kind of going to Fort Lauderdale. Usually he goes with Crockett or at least Switek. Tubbs is flying solo on doing this, other investigation he shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all of Ice shows up, albeit a little bit. I thought there'd be more in the dirt with Tubbs, since this was the second time Crockett was down for the count, essentially. They didn't have a memorial service since they thought he was dead or couldn't be accounted for, or there was nothing brought up about that other than he's just missing. I don't know. And then where was Caroline and Billy as well? Especially the last episode. I'm sorry, 2 episodes when he was shot. Why didn't they bring them in? Like I said, last episode, it would have been perfect to have Elvis on the boat. We haven't seen Elvis in a long time. Anyway, good one to end season 4. At least Tubbs know that Crockett is alive. Maybe not well, but he's alive.
Right.
And
if I had to guess about why they didn't have a memorial service, they didn't find the body, and that's what they were. It was all about for Tubbs taking personal time. So that could be it.
Right. Anyway, they know he's alive and well. I'm sure Tubbs is going to get the word. Yeah, I saw him. He drove away on a boat. Now we got to do our work to find him because he's not doing what he typically does.
So now here's Miami Vice music for this episode. First up, we have Bedbugs and Ballyhoo by Echo and the Bunnymen, which is at Manolo's party. Money God by Big Pig, where Burnett meets and shoots Tubbs in the alley. And Alpha Centauri by Tangerine Dream, the Burnett dream sequence with Tubbs in the coffin.
And our final look at Jan Hammer music in the Miami Vice series, as we'll get to in our fun fact. But this episode is bookended by great Jan Hammer music. We have Marina. No, not Marina from Vice and Easy podcast. Hi, Marina. That's the opening scene with Crockett on board the boat with Manolo and Gutierrez meeting. We've got Rico's Blues. That's when Tubbs was searching Manolo's Miami storefront location. Airport Swap. That's when Burnett meets and shoots the dealers. And the last one is Angelina Flashback. That's when Burnett shoots Hagovich and motors off in the speedboat. All right, time for the goofs, fun facts, and locations. And like I said, this is Jan Hammer's final music appearance on Miami Vice. Tim Truman is going to take over in season 5, although Hammer's opening theme is going to remain. So thank you for the good music, Mr. Hammer.
Yes. And our goof is when Burnett is staring in the mirror after his nightmare, there's no sign of the scar on his chest when he was shot in a bullet for Crockett.
Well, it is Miami, so he probably went to a plastic surgeon and got that taken care of. Definitely more believable if this was LA Vice. Then we know he would have been to a cosmetologist.
Yes.
Location, we've got the Edward Hotel, 953 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach. That's when Crockett was in the hospital. So, okay, it was a hospital, but it seemed like it was very vacant.
And then we have a location, the Pink House, 9325 North Bayshore Drive, Miami Shores, Manolo's Gallery. And that's where Burnett also shoots Hagovich.
Yep, the Pink House. So obviously the estate sold it off and it got sold to someone, made it a gallery. Okay, last trivia for season 4. Last episode, we asked what brand cell phone is in Crockett's Ferrari. And as they zoomed in, it's a Diamond Tel. I don't think they exist anymore. Tim,
I'm sure not.
Yeah.
Well, for this episode's question is In the opening scene, what was the brand name of the speedboat? Not a name of the speedboat, but the brand name of the speedboat that picked up Alejandro. And we think Crockett bailed into this before the yacht blew up. Not sure. What's the name?
So you the can brand name, not the boat name that you would typically name a boat, but the brand.
Right, like the Stugatz Ghoul. No, it's not that. It's a brand name, a type of speedboat.
Gotcha.
Because I did look it up to see, and they still exist today, this brand. You can post your answers on this episode's Facebook post, or you can email us at miamivice@duck.com. We've arrived at Mindful Music. We would like to share a quick clip of a song that we think will send some peaceful, inspiring vibes your way. With the show as well as our own lives, we might have many issues or stressful times that we encounter. With these song choices, we can hopefully quiet the mind and make those issues less of an obstacle for your day. The song choice for this episode is The Eagles' The Long Run. Just because we have made it through 4 seasons and 1 more to go, along with some lost episodes. This song is also an ode to Crockett and Tubbs' enduring partnership and personal friendship. Take a listen.
And if we ever got paid for our episodes, I'm definitely guaranteed to get copyright strike and claim on that one because
the Eagles are very particular.
Oh, no. They're particular? Okay. They just want their cash. That's all.
Well, here's the thing.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
We always put the Fair Use Act, people. We always put the Fair Use Act in there, which entitles somebody to use it for educational purposes only. Like Mark said, if we were getting paid for this, we would have major issues. Probably throughout most of our run on this podcast, we would have issues using clips and things like that. But we're not doing it to get paid. We're doing it to have fun.
It's for fun. So thank you for letting us do this, Mr. Eagles, Joe Walsh. Hey, what's our 6th degree of separation with Joe Walsh as far as what we listen to, Tim, in our area?
The great Steve Dahl. They both went back. They went to rehab together.
Yep.
AA, whatever.
Joe Walsh was at Steve Dahl's house when he did the New Year's Steve and Gary. I forget what years. Joe Walsh showed up at Steve Dahl's house.
Nice.
Anyway, thanks to all of you for tuning in to the Vice of Miami podcast. We hope you enjoyed our look into the world of Miami Vice. And if you love what you heard, please give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps us out. And don't forget to spread the word. Please spread the word. Let's try to get a lot more subscribers. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and more Miami Vice goodness. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at the Vice of Miami podcast. Our next episode, number 96, is going to cover the Season 5 recap.
Season 4.
That's right. Season 4. I'm already thinking ahead. Season 4. Like we've done before, why they write this. This is a good episode, music, whatever. We're going to figure out still. We're working on it. So it's going to be the recap. And then we're going to take a week break after that And then we're going to start into season 5. So until next time, stay stylish and keep the Vice alive now.
Thanks, pal.